heard you say that sex is a conversation. Do you want to tell me more about that?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a that's an often surprising statement that I make to people because they consider it more of a physical act devoid of any content or other than just the generation of sexual tension and its release, and then that's that. And at the origin, I guess sex was there for procreation because we had to reproduce to ensure our survival. Fortunately, we've moved on from that to higher considerations. And sex has taken on all kinds of additional meanings over the years. It's been used as a manipulative tool, a political intrigue, all kinds of different things. It's played a huge role in human society. Now, though, it seems to have morphed into something far less complete. My impression is that sex is seen now as, once again, just a purely physical act, a series of do this and do that to me. It's like I call it the Chinese menu of pleasure. That somebody tells somebody, I like that, so you do that to me and I'll do this to you and then we'll both be happy. And maybe that'll work for a while, but the focus on pure sensation is fleeting, it's ephemeral, it's gone once it's been experienced. I think the interesting thing about sex is that, and I guess we've all had different experiences, but really gratifying sex stays with you. You have a glow. It's not like, another metaphor, you've gone to the bathroom and it feels great after having been constipated for 3 days, but what does it mean? There's nothing that remains really. So I think sex is really the body's language. It's a way of the body expressing through its own tactile terms what the heart, for lack of again a better term, a metaphor for the seat of our emotions, what the heart is feeling. And if you think about it, the need to be touched and the need to touch is so fundamental that the whole idea that we reduce it to a 15-minute hookup, that's not sex anymore. I established 3 levels, a hierarchy of 3 levels. You have making love, which is probably, the union of 2 people, the joining, and it can or doesn't have to involve an orgasm. It can last for hours, or it's just something that takes you out of the present moment and transcends your solitary individual existence. Then, unfortunately, what we seem to practice more commonly nowadays is fucking, which I call parallel masturbation, because people just, if you really observe them, they tend to isolate themselves while they're involved with someone else, doing something to someone else, not really thinking about the other person. So there is no joining. They're thinking about themselves and the pleasure they're having. And then, the intermediate ground where I think most people live is sex, which is letting yourself, your body express what you're feeling. And just one final point about, the famous horniness. And I think horniness is taken to be, well, I have a high sexual energy. I need to get rid of it, which is a very sad concept, to get rid of something that stimulates you. I think horniness is just basically your body telling you to get off your behind and go out and meet somebody, connect with someone. That can be physical, but it surprisingly oftentimes something that starts out as a fantasy, a sexual fantasy, turns out to be a very interesting conversation that has no sexual content at all. But it's the impetus that comes from this horniness, the sense of isolation, a lack of connectedness. The body feels it as well, and it's not just gross or rank sexual desire or sexual energy. It's really the body telling you something higher. It's a higher message that oftentimes we misinterpret.